Hello, my name is Animus of va.games, and welcome back to Flight School. Today we're going to be covering maneuverability. We're going to go over what maneuverability is, what it can do for you, and how you can practice it. A maneuver is just another word for a move, so maneuverability is just a word that describes something's ability to move. Attack helicopters in Battlefield 3 are actually even more maneuverable than many seasoned pilots are ready to give it credit for. In the hands of an expert, helicopters are capable of outmaneuvering almost any opponent, which include other helicopters, jets, and even Stinger and IGLA missiles from the ground. One of the biggest advantages that attack helicopters have in regards to their maneuverability is the ability to maintain below radar altitudes at maximum speed over the ground. Since every structure on Earth is founded on the Earth, it stands to reason that the lower you fly, the more obstacles you'll have to contend with. At first, all you have to worry about are taller towers and antennae, but as you get lower, you need to start being aware of buildings, trees, light posts, signs, and even some rocks. Some players might tell you that flying low to the ground is impractical or dangerous, and while it can be dangerous in certain situations if you aren't aware of what's on the ground below, it's hardly a reason not to take advantage of the wealth of benefits it bestows. Since helicopters are so versatile, being able to both hover in place and move across the ground at high speeds and low altitudes, it's possible to use the aforementioned structures to break line of sight and spoof tracking missiles. You can also get behind some structures to limit or even outright prevent jets from attacking you, at least temporarily. It's very common even for some experienced jet pilots to crash when they try to attack me. Consider the following clip from a recent game of Conquest on Operation Firestorm. After the enemy secures the last checkpoint, they turn their Stinger launches up to the sky and set their jets loose upon us. Pay close attention to how I use offensive and defensive maneuvers to first strafe a target and then try to get us out of extremely hot water.
Spotted an enemy soldier in your area. Proceed with caution. The enemy now control all the objectives. I repeat, the enemy now control all the objectives. Yeah, I've got an enemy soldier. We have neutralized the objective.
We do end up losing this game, and we do finally get jet ram very shortly after this clip ends, but it does stand as a testament to how a helicopter can negotiate high-end maneuvers in tight environments low to the ground in response to adversity. But of course, being low to the ground is not the only way to fly. As I will cover in more depth when I discuss dogfighting with jets, a good helicopter pilot can actually outmaneuver most jet pilots in most situations. Helicopter pilots can greatly reduce the damage they take from jets and even put themselves in a position to counterattack. I believe that the number one key to unlocking the potential of a helicopter can be summed up in one word: throttle. Most pilots will hold the throttle up trigger like its magic is the only thing keeping them from falling out of the sky. However, just like in a car, releasing the throttle or even braking can be used to take greater control of the vehicle by altering the turning radius. In some cases, pilots can use throttling and dethrottling alternatively during one turn to achieve a desired effect. This can be more complicated in helicopters because they move in 3 dimensions as opposed to the 2 dimensions that cars live in, but the concept is virtually the same. Unfortunately, you cannot simply watch a video of someone else flying a helicopter and suddenly have the skills to fly the helicopter yourself. Nothing can replace experience when it comes to learning, so it is important that pilots spend many hours at the controls. It is absolutely vital that not only do pilots know the maps intimately, but they know their vehicle even better. Every move you make must be deliberate, and you must know precisely how the helicopter will respond to each and every input at the controls. Again, the best way to learn this is to do this. Take helicopters up for flights in any of the hundreds of empty servers and push the machine to its limits. See for yourself just how high you can pitch up before the helicopter will stall out and drop out of the sky. See how many places your helicopter will actually fit. Determine how you might use some of those places to your advantage in live combat situations. Push the machine to its limits and find its breaking points. This may be cliched, but you must become one with the helicopter. While you can certainly benefit from practice in any map with a helicopter, The two vanilla maps that I prefer are Operation Firestorm and Caspian Border. If you have the DLC maps, I also love Riverside and Gulf of Oman, among others. I do not like Karg Island because it is common for light poles to literally appear out of nowhere, as they tend not to render on screen until you're about to crash into them. In Firestorm, and really any map you choose to practice in, just start by taking off. Make your way towards the objectives and pick paths through and around them on the fly. Try flying under structures, like the pipes near Objective Charlie. Try flying through structures, like the two silos at Objective Charlie. Start strafing imaginary targets around the silos and the pipes, and integrate flying through them and under them as part of those strafing maneuvers. A common place for helicopter pilots to hide on Firestorm is the container array beside Objective Charlie at the base of the mountain at the Russian deployment. This is perhaps the best place to practice maneuvering the helicopter, as you can get really low to the ground and take really tight turns. Try to weave in and out of the containers slalom style, perhaps slow at first, but gradually get faster and faster. Then step it up by turning around a single container without hitting any of the others. Imagine you're trying to break line of sight from some pest on the ground with a Stinger missile. In Caspian Border, I like to practice flying as fast as possible through the trees, especially following the road that goes from one deployment to the other. It is impossible to remember where each and every tree in the map is, so you will have to rely less on memory and more on sight. You have to be able to scan the area in front of you very quickly and react to obstacles as they appear. You are extremely likely to crash if you start to panic or feel yourself getting worked up or anxious. I'm reminded of the words Qui-Gon Jinn spoke to Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 1 regarding pod racing. You must have Jedi reflexes if you race pods. You must have Jedi reflexes if you fly helicopters. The only way to improve your reflexes is to push them to their limits and then beyond. If you aren't crashing a lot, it isn't because you're too good, it's because you're not pushing yourself to the limits. You will learn more from one failure than you will from 100 successes. Do not be afraid to crash. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Do not be afraid. And as always, thanks for watching.